what else have we got?
While We Watch, which is a documentary about NDTV anchor Ravish Kumar, who is described in India as the voice of the voiceless. He turns his attention to poverty, job losses, infrastructure, while other stations are gaining viewers by screaming about dissent and this kind of very kind of pro-nationalist agenda. And the documentary depicts journalism in India as in crisis, in the same way it is elsewhere in the world. That what you have is all these news stations who are basically firing up, national zeal and describing anybody who is criticising the government as being anti-national. And what we see is the station's signal being blocked. We see their resources dwindling. We see death threats being thrown around after the subject's phone number is posted on Facebook. We see one bit in which he gives a lecture to students in which he says news channels are pitting people against each other. This is becoming an information-less society. And it's about how he continues to want to tell the news even in the face of all this. Here's a trailer for the film.
आज जो चैनलों में हो रहा है वो पत्रकारिता नहीं है। सबका कंटेंट एक सा होता जा रहा है।
इतना बड़ा खबर हो गया, आप देख लीजिए कहीं चला रहे हो तो।
हिंदुस्तान के खिलाफ बातें करता है, घर में घुसकर मारेंगे तुझे।
जब भी सूचना गायब हो जाएगी, तब भाषा में हिंसा ही आएगी।
रवि कुमार, आई वार्न यू, अभी समय है गलत रास्ता छोड़ दो।
एक डरा हुआ पत्रकार लोकतंत्र में अधमरा नागरिक पैदा करता है। नमस्कार, मैं रविश कुमार।
देश को तोड़ने की बात करते हैं, हम ये बिल्कुल सहन नहीं करेंगे।
न्यूज चैनलों के जरिए जहर आपके बीच खोला जा रहा है। पूछने वाले को देशद्रोही बताया जाता है।
वो फॉलो कर रहा था, देश से फॉलो कर रहा था।
So I thought this was really interesting, firstly because I didn't know the particular story behind it, but the story about how news has been taken over by people shrieking, nationalist, patriotic agendas around is something with which everyone will be familiar. And there is a kind of sturdiness at the centre of it. But this guy said, look, these aren't the issues. The issues are really to do with poverty and infrastructure and all these other things. And as a result of that, receiving regular death threats. And we cut between him at work and then him with his daughter at home. And even when he's at home, getting stuff on his phone call saying, you are anti-national, you are anti-national, you are... And then, of course, we're all leading up to the election. And I thought it was really gripping, really kind of an impressive portrait of somebody it's a sobering story about you're trying to tell the news, you're trying to actually report on what's genuinely happening, and yet you are now surrounded by this kind of huge media enterprise in which the person who shouts most loudly the message that, that we must all stand behind the nation, we must all be patriotic, they are the ones that get the advertisers and the money and the resources. And it ends with people that run the NDTV being arrested. So wow. It's a really, really worthwhile documentary.
And then the Prime Minister of India goes to America and is feted by the White House because you want to be friends with India.
Precisely.
Okay, and that is called?
While We Watch.
And that is a cinematic release.
And again, probably online as well.
Sounds like essential viewing. Thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. While you're here, check out all the other videos because they're cool too, aren't they?
Yeah, and if you want to keep up to date with everything Kermode and Mayo's take, then check out our social channels.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
I mean, I would. I have done.
Excellent.